Alright everyone, it's Dokkan time again, and today we're going to be going through the how to build for the new STR LR Goku and Vegeta. I want to call them Vegito, but unfortunately, they are just Goku and Vegeta. The Vegito portion of them is just an active skill, which is rather unfortunate because it's really good animations just trapped behind an active skill. Kind of similar to that of like Tech's Super Saiyan Gods. But anyways, I think they're impressive. I think they're really good. I don't know if they're like a mandatory pull, but if you're watching this at the beginning of the GDC, the Global Dokkan Celebration in July, then please know that their banner is much better than Rose's banner. I'll make my own comment on that during the Rose build. But anyways, if you've watched my videos before, you'll know that I'm making builds and role tips and suggestions for this unit. We go through the breakdown of the unit, the defense, then we also go through some build suggestions, and then role tips and a couple other things. So, please stick around, and let's just go ahead and get into it. So, starting with Goku, because they are both Goku and Vegeta, so we'll have to actually go through both. Goku starting off, we have several 200% options for them. And I do mean several 200% options. I think these guys have probably the most 200% possibilities in the game right now. They have over 25 categories attached to them. Unfortunately, they are not on every 220 lead right now. They are on, of course, the 220 lead for the Tech Vegito and AGL Gogeta, of course. Those are probably the highlighted moment ones. And then, of course, you can run them under the Tech Gods. I do believe they should... I don't think that they're under Hit's lead, but I don't think they're going to benefit too much from being under Hit, as he's an extreme unit. We'll get into that later. They should be under the physical Vegeta's 220 if you want to run Daima Vegeta, of course. Everything else is just kind of up to your own discretion, as most of these other team leader 200% options are pretty outdated. But some of them are probably useful for... some kind of niche content or missions. Their own leader skill is Future Saga, Fused Fighter, Ki plus 3, HP 200, and attack and defense of 170. And then they give the full 220 buff to Parent and Child for final trump card categories. This probably seems a lot more, how would I put this? Extra. Like, this seems like a lot, but it's really not. Because their leader skill is just Fused Fighter, along with Future Saga, it really lowers the amount of usage between characters that can be under their full leader skill. So they're not actually that great of a leader skill, and it's more like just a Fused Fighter team, basically. Their 12 key is greatly raising attack and defense for one turn, and then they lower the enemy's attack by 20%. Pretty nice. Their 18 key super is greatly stacking attack. Yes, that does stack the attack specifically. And then they raise allies' defense by 60% for the turn. Super nice right there, but it does mean that they do need to be in slot 1 to take full advantage of this. If they're in slot 2, only the slot 3 unit will actually be able to take advantage of that. So just keep that in mind. Their passive is as follows: attack and defense 200%. They get an additional key plus 2 per key sphere obtained. And per super class ally or future saga ally on the team, they'll get an additional attack and defense of 50% up to 150. And then chance of evading enemy's attack plus 20% up to 60. So what this means is that you need at least 3 super or 3 future saga category allies on the team, not including him. So that means you would require an extra 3 super class allies on the team and another 3 future saga category allies on the team. It's one or the other. But that is what it does mean. You just need 3. So that means a total of 4. When all allies attacking in the same turn are super class characters, or when there's another future saga category ally attacking in the same turn, he gets a free additional super, another chance of evading 20% by 20%, and damage reduction rate of 10%. So what this means is as long as you have a full super class rotation or a future saga category attacking in the same turn, along with having 3 on the team itself, this unit has 70% damage reduction and 80% chance to dodge. Now, when activating an active skill or when attacking with 18 or more ki, attack plus 200%, attacks effective against all types. When receiving attack, defense 180. That's where the main buff of his defense is from, by the way, is when he's receiving an attack. Starting from the 4th turn from the start of battle, he can exchange with Vegeta. Now, both of these units have 2 different active skills. And just like Tech Vegito and AGL Vegito from the anniversary, they can only use one. So, if you're going to use an active skill, be sure that you choose wisely. If you use Goku's active skill, he transforms into Vegito, and then you see his super nice animations, and then he's gone forever. But then he gets an attack and defense boost of 20%, and that is permanent for the rest of the fight. And he does nullify attacks that are guaranteed to hit, making it possible to evade attacks in battle. This is solely only for him. Just keep that in mind, that it is only for him when you use this active. It doesn't mean that the entire team can dodge against AGL Jiren or something. It is just straight up him that has the ability to dodge moving forward. And you can activate this starting from the 4th turn. Now, the links for the Goku Vegeta unit are going to be the same. The only difference is going to be the Kamehameha link that will change. So they have Super Saiyan, Saiyan Warrior Race, Warrior Gods, Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power, and then Goku has Kamehameha, whereas Vegeta will have Royal Lineage. Categories are a lot. All of the categories, almost. As far as best link partners goes, of course, if you're running double lead for this unit, you can just kind of exchange Vegeta. I don't think this is a very good idea. I'll get into the reasons for that later. Tech Gods is probably the best leader choice. But as you can see, they have primary Super Saiyan links, so they're going to link up with a lot of units in general. Full power Super Saiyan 2 Gohan right here, Tech Vegito, AGL Gogeta, of course, and then, of course, some other newer-esque units like the Kaioken Blues. So, these aren't the only ones. Like I said, they have basic standard Super Saiyan links aside from the Warrior Gods link. It's literally just standard. The only defense link is going to be the Prepared for Battle link, which is only 5%, so it's kind of negligible on that, but I will tell you that just because this unit does have the receives key +2 per key sphere obtained, they actually do have a little bit of key issues. It basically means you have to force key for them. You need support. I think at default they should be around 11 key, and then if you want to hit 18 key super, you will need to get at least 3 or 4 key spheres. 3 only if it's an STR type orb. Anything else, it needs to be 4 and up to even hit the 18 key marker. So just keep that in mind, that they do need a little bit of key. And when you're rocking them along with units like, say, the Tech Gods, there's going to be times where you're going to be wanting to focus up orbs on other units. So just be careful on your orb usage with them is my big suggestion with them. Now, moving on to Vegeta. Vegeta is going to be... Whoa. That was weird. Okay, Dokkan info. So, Vegeta is a little bit different. His 12 key is greatly raising attack and defense for 1 turn and lowering the enemy's defense. And then his 18 key super is massively raising attack and raising defense for 1 turn. No, he does not stack. This is not a stacking super attack. The only way you stack attack is in the Goku phase. So, as long as you're okay with not stacking anymore, you can exchange into Vegeta. Passive skill is key +7, attack and defense 200, 50% chance to crit, 50% chance to dodge, 40% crit, or 40% damage reduction, excuse me. Key +3, attack and defense 80% for the character and allies whose name includes Trunks. Now, this is an interesting thing to be throwing into here, and at the time of writing, there is no viable Trunks unit that could probably be really ran with them. Trunks units are pretty, unfortunately, forgettable. I'm sorry, Celtic Link. Please, please don't attack me. Please don't. But as the 3rd attacker in a turn, he gets attack 150% and performs a critical hit. And then when attacking with 18 or more key, attack and defense 250%, and then launches an additional super attack. And when activating the active skill or attacking with 20 or more key, defense 150, and launches another additional super. Okay, so that's a lot of crap. So, if you throw them into the slot 3 when you're Vegeta, you get a free crit. As long as you get to 20 key you can have 3 super attacks guaranteed, because you'll get one at 18 and you'll get another one at 20. And then you have the 50% chance to crit, and you got the 50% chance to dodge. So when you exchange it to Vegeta, basically he's kind of an all-arounder. That's pretty much what he is. He's an all-arounder kind of unit. But I will tell you right now, right off the bat, before we even get into the defense numbers, that his defense is actually not enough with that 40% damage reduction, and he just doesn't get enough from additionals. The hardest fights in the game will kill you. It will kill you. If you want to be defensively good enough, you do need to go ahead and exchange into the Goku unit. He is the dodge or die 70% damage reduction unit, and that is just the way that it is. He is the more defensive unit that stacks up attack, and then when you feel like you want to finish off the enemy, you should be switching to Vegeta. That's the basic premise of this unit. Now, as I said before, Vegeta has an active as well. He massively raises attack, causes ultimate damage. He gains the effect of guard. Future Saga category allies get attack and defense of 15%, and then an additional defense of 10% for the character who also belongs to Bond of Parent and Child for 4 turns. So, if you read this correctly, this means that this active only lasts for 4 turns. That means that's only for 2 appearances and no more. That means that Vegeta loses guard after 2 appearances, basically, and the allies will lose this extra defense buff after 4 turns. It's really unfortunate. If this was a permanent thing, it would have made them probably one of the best units in the game to be running. But unfortunately, both of their active skills are actually kind of underwhelming to a degree. They're good in the moment, but they don't stay. And that's the only issue I have with them. They're very good. They are very good for 4 turns. But as I said, their link skills are the same. The only difference here is royal lineage. So the only difference on link partners will be is that there's just a couple added additions of Vegeta family stuff, like LR Future Trunks and Vegeta right here that needs a EZA or they're irrelevant. Then there's the Tech Vegeta exchange point, and then of course it just goes back down to the normal. So, technically speaking, Goku is the better linking partner because more units have Kamehameha with them, so higher damage output. But yeah. So, quite a bit here. Let's just go ahead and move on to the defense numbers. Alright, these defense numbers are compliments to Halvard, so appreciate you, dude. Now, these defense numbers are specifically for the Goku state. Now, he's a little all over the place, but basically on a full super class team, Future Saga team, when receiving an attack, on 18 key, it doesn't matter. So on 18 key, he doesn't get defense on super. He only gets defense on the 12 key super. So if you get an additional, you're going to be up to 1.2 million defense. And because he doesn't get any defense on his 18 key, he only has to start a turn defense of 1 million. So if you only get the 12 key super with this unit, and then the additional, you'll just be at the 1.2, and then it'll go up to 1.5. If you get a triple with them, it would probably go up to about a 1.8, I would say, roughly. With Goku's active skill activated specifically, which is a 20% increase, it'll be start a turn defense of 1.1, 12 key 1.4, and then an additional 1.8. If you activate Vegeta's active, he'll be at a start a turn of 1.17, and then defense 1.5. As you can see, the difference on the active skill defense-wise for this unit is kind of negligible. Maybe a 50 to 100k difference at most. And considering Goku's is permanent, his is the better choice. I would say the best choice is to, if you run double Goku Vegeta, use one of them for Goku and then use the other one with Vegeta's active skill. That way that this guy is benefiting from both actives at the same time. This will probably increase this a lot more, but Halvard did not calculate that, so I won't tell you how much it is because I can't tell you. This also is not taking into consideration of this unit's equips, which they do have special equipment orbs that I will tell you where to get later in the video. Now, with 40% support, they're getting up to 1.2 start a turn defense, 1.6 on their 12 key, and then additional will get you up to 2 million. Now, this doesn't sound like a crap ton of defense, I'm not going to lie to you, but you got to understand that this unit has 70% damage reduction. 70% damage reduction does go quite a bit far into there, so 2 million defense is pretty nice. Though I don't think you'll be at 2 million defense at all points of time. I'd say you're probably going to be hovering around the 1.2 to 1.5 range. It really depends on your dupes. So, let's just go ahead and go look at the defense numbers for the Vegeta state, which should be higher. So, yep, much higher. Much, much, much higher. But just keep in mind that they don't have any good start-to-turn defense. But anyways, so start a turn when attacking with 20 plus ki, you can get up to 1.5 million defense. So already just on their first initial super, they already have equal the amount of defense that Goku would have. Get an additional, you're at 2. You get that triple, you're at 2.5. That's free, by the way. And then if you're hitting potential procs, you'll be at 3 million defense. Now just keep in mind, like I said, Vegeta guaranteed triple supers, basically, as long as you're hitting 20 ki. So 2.5 should be the normal if you have a rainbowed unit and you have equipment, you know, support. You should be at that 2.5 no matter what. Now with the Goku active skill, you can get up to that 3 million range. With Vegeta active, you can get to 3.2. If you double use another Vegeta active, that can probably go up to 3.5 roughly, and with 40% support, 3.6. I would say with equipment, double actives, you can easily at triple super be at around the 4 million range. 4 million isn't too bad. 40% damage reduction goes pretty long way for that. So it will allow them to survive very well. But I would knock off a good million damage, probably. Good whole million defense if you only have a 55%. 55% with all of these extra additionals, you're losing quite a chunk of in there. Even if you do have the equipment orbs for this, double actives, 55%, you're probably looking closer to like a 3.5 at maximum. Probably 3.5, 3.7, somewhere in there. 55% will be dramatically weaker as far as defense-wise goes. Damage-wise, they probably won't be too much different, but maybe I could find some damage numbers. Hold on. Now, I don't really know how much I trust this source here for damage numbers, but as far as private server testings go, I can confer that with Goku, first super, 40 million, that sounds about right. If you get 3 stacks in with Goku, 50 million, that does sound about right. And then if he double supers, 35 mils. Those are pretty nice. And then with the Vegeta active, yeah, this is looking about correct. Yeah, this is looking about correct. Full passive, slot 3, 66 million first super, 40, 46, 49 magically if you get that hit potential. So they can do quite a good amount of damage. And you get free crits in slot 3. So I don't know if those are accurate numbers, but I can say they're probably in the right ballpark. All right, and so before we get into the build suggestions, I did want to go ahead and tell you where you can get the equipment orbs for this unit, and technically the Rose unit. I'm not sure exactly which stage you get this from, but you will be able to get these level 9 bronze orb here, the silver equip at level 6 for defense and dodge, and then the level 6 for additional, and level 3 for attack on the gold. This is the same for both units. And the mission rewards are as follows. Clear stage 1 of the event on Super once to get the bronze, clear it on Super 2 to get the silver, and then clear it on Super 3 to get the gold. The first fight, the first stage, is against Zamasu. So my assumption is that you probably get Vegetos from beating Rose. That's my assumption. I'm probably wrong. But either way, you have to fight Rose in stage 1, and you have to fight Goku Vegeta in stage 2. Once you beat them on all difficulties, you will get all the equipment orbs. This is where you get the equipment orbs, regardless of how you want to look at it. So either stage 1 or stage 2 will give you either the Goku Vegeta or the Zamasu orbs. So, all right, so we're finally getting into the actual build suggestions here. Now, I'm not looking forward to this part. I had such a huge amount of trouble getting these builds down throughout the night. It really was a really tough call. I had to make several different potential builds. And unfortunately, because of the nature of the equipment, it makes the builds much less bendable. Like, you only have so many options to build the unit because of just how much extra defense you'll get from the equipment orbs. And because of that, it makes the build suggestions less relevant, and it's more just about your dupes. So because you have to rely on dupes more than anything, it makes this unit very underwhelming for me. Because yes, they are good at 55%, but they are just them at 55%. It means I can't bend them one way or the other that I feel that they're missing or that they should be changed. So just a reminder, this is my suggestions based on how they are built with their equipment. And yeah, so just let me know what your builds are if you don't agree. So 55% as far as like just a baseline minimum here, if you're going to be using the equipments they actually give these units, which I highly suggest you use because of how much extra defense they give. You'll just only have the default level 5 crit because they're an STR unit, and then the silver equip will end up giving you a level 6 dodge with a level 6 defense, and then a level 9 bronze orb, which will give you quite a whopping big, like almost 2,000 increase on your defense, which is basically an extra couple dupes worth of defense. So definitely worth it if you only have a 55% build, so just keep that in mind. Now, another 55% choice if you choose to just go away from the fact that they do have their own special orbs. Because this unit, Goku, is mostly a dodge or die kind of a unit, specifically on super attacks, not necessarily on normals. He's obviously tanking normals. But because he already has 80% dodge chance, he already has a pretty good defensibility just outright with there. And because you're at 55% and you don't have any crit built in, you have no dupe access, and there's nothing else to give them, I would say a level 5 crit wouldn't be terrible. That's a 20% chance to crit at the very least. So if you really wanted to try and get the kill with the Vegito specifically, this would probably be your best bet. Give him attack orb, really increase that damage if you can, and that would be it. It's not my best suggestion for a 55%, but it's one of the only other ones outside of just using the equipment made for them. Now moving on to the 1 dupe builds. So 1 dupe builds, once again, this is for a build that if you choose to not use the equipment made for them, I would suggest focusing up on the critical. At 1 dupe, you can get the crit up to 14. You can give them a silver level 5, and that'll pump it up to 19. A level 19 is equivalent to a 38% chance, I believe. 38% chance to crit, which is pretty dang good. And then you'll just be left with 1 extra node, which will just be a level 3 additional or a dodge, entirely up to you on which one you want to choose on there. And then just give him another attack orb, of course, if you really want to try and kill with that active. Now, once again, more than likely most people are going to be wanting to use the equipment here. And as you can see, this is kind of the reason why I chose to make a separate build from them, because unless you have 2 dupes, you're not really benefiting too much from these. I mean, you can give them a level 3 dodge, and then, you know, the silver gives them all the way up to a 9 dodge, and then you still just have the defense orbs. And then you can push towards the level 9 additional for the 1 dupe. Because they are an STR unit, they just have the level 5 crit, so that's it. A level 9 additional is just 18% chance to additional attack, so just keep that in mind. I do understand people don't want to give this unit crit, and this is the suggestion I have for you if you only got 1 dupe. So it's either you go full in for crit because you want to go damage, and you're just working off of what they have built into their kit, or you just kind of go with this. But moving on. Now, if you did manage to get dupes with the equipment orbs that they have made for them, which would be the level 6 gold additional with the level 3 attack, and then the level 6 dodge and level 6 defense orb, and then the 9 defense orb for bronze. With how much you can put into their hidden potential naturally, a level 15 additional is probably the best way to go here. This unit isn't necessarily going to benefit too much from the dodge here. They already have a 50% chance to dodge in the Vegeta state. They already have a 80% chance to dodge in the Goku state. The dodge doesn't necessarily help too much, because remember, this is only a 1% chance. So that means that at level 12, that's a 12% chance to dodge if their passive didn't proc. It does not stack. But I would say the additional helps out the unit the most. So level 15, naturally, with that gold equip, it'll push it up to a 21. So that's a 42% chance to additional. And I would say that's this is probably the most best, well, all-around build. A majority of what people are going to be running the entire time. So if you watch other content creators that pop this unit at 100%, this is probably the exact build that they will have, and they will not diversify unless they are just crazy dodge or die fanatics. Now, you do have the option of going more into a critical route if you do want to actually use Goku more than the Vegeta. In this case, you are just going to go full in on your hidden potential at a natural level 20 because they are an STR unit. And then you just put the last two nodes into additional right here. And basically what will happen here is you'll either have level 6 additional or level 6 dodge. And because you only have these two equips, no matter what, you'll have a level 12 additional or dodge because of this. Whichever one of these you don't put the last two nodes of your hidden potential into, you will just end up with the level 6 because of your equipment, because you're just using the normal default equipment. So, once again, this is just another build that I think a lot of people will probably end up using, mostly because they know that Goku doesn't have crit here. If you're like me and you don't think attacks effective against all types is good enough, this is probably what you might run. But otherwise, if you really want to be different from everybody and you don't want to use the equipment that they give you, you can go for full crit here. And this is mostly just to make sure that you get to see a KO animation with Vegito here, which then you're just defying all of the gods and everything else, and you're putting on crit gold, crit silver, and then an attack orb in bronze slot, just to make sure that you get that kill from that Vegito active. Otherwise, I wouldn't suggest this necessarily to everyone. This is more of like a funsy build. This is you wanting to see more unga bunga damage and get the kill. Go for Vegito, basically. So, whew. That was painful. That was really painful. This has been going on for half an hour. This is painful. I'm losing it, man. All right, let's move on to the roll tips. So with the roll tips over here, they are pretty standard, actually. This is probably the most generic set of roll tips that you could make. So leader skill wise, you're just going to run the 11th or 10th anniversary units of the AGL Gogeta and the Tech Vegito. They themselves, of course, are one of their best leaders. Tech Gods, if you're okay with only 200%, and then Daima Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta if you don't have probably the 10th anniversary units. Now, partner-wise, it's basically just fusions, straight up. The only ones that go outside of this would definitely be Super Saiyan 34 Goku. He is also 70% support for them because he's Power Beyond Super Saiyan support once he transforms. And then you have Super Saiyan 2 Gohan over here in the corner here as one of his better link partners. As far as best slot position goes, you're definitely going to be running Goku in slot 1 for the majority of the time. He doesn't need to be in slot 1, but 80% dodge tank, 70% damage reduction, why not? And then as far as if you ever exchange into Vegeta specifically, you'll always just run him into slot 3. There's almost no reason not to throw Vegeta into slot 3 if you go to him, just because of the free crit and the excessive amount of additionals. Basically, if you switch to Vegeta, you're just going for the kill, in my opinion. If you switch to Vegeta, you're going for the kill. If you're in the Goku state, you're still stacking up damage with that 18 key super, and that's the whole point is with this unit, is to stack with Goku for as long as possible, exchange into Vegeta, and just go for the kill. Doesn't really matter which active you use because it's just going to benefit the unit regardless. It's very situational which active would be better over the other. So just keep that in mind. And with all that being said, I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else to go over. As I said before, with the equipment, you're going to go into the Special Battle Global Campaign 2025 Challenge. Clear stage 1 or 2 for Vegito or Rose. It will actually tell you in the mission results once the event goes live. But yeah. So I think that's going to be it for the video. Do let me know what you decided to roll with on this unit. Did you decide to go for a more crit-focused build because you want to see Vegito finish off the enemy? Or did you decide to just go ahead, run with the equipment they give you, and just kind of go for more of an additional kind of dodge route? So, thank you everybody for watching. Let me know how your summons go, and I hope you have a good day and a good night.